Today's yoga class is going to be a really good amount of power and vinyasa, and we're going to focus on hips. So not only opening the hips, but also getting to really strengthen the hips. As always, if something that I say doesn't really vibe well with your body tonight, just don't do it. I'll talk a lot about different modifications, different things you can do, but you know, I can't see you when I'm over there. So if you're not doing it, you don't really have to, but it's fun. So we're gonna get started. You're gonna come onto your mat, taking my socks off, and we're gonna start in child's pose. In your child's pose, you're gonna bring your toes to touch behind you. And your knees can either be out wide to the width of your mat or tucked underneath of your chest if you'd like that support. And just walking the hands out towards the top of your mat, bringing your forehead to rest onto the floor. And just coming right into the breath, dialing in. Feeling every inhale as it fills and expands your lungs. And every exhale as it clears them out empty. Finding some good activity by pressing down through the fingers, the palms, all of the knuckles. And using that press to send the hips down closer towards the heels, lengthening out the spine. And we'll take about 2 more breaths right here, so make them really big. Exhaling empty. With 1 more big inhale. And the exhale. Looking towards the fingers, you're gonna pick up the torso and walk the hands over to the right side of the mat. If they come off the mat, they come to the floor, or they stay on, just let the forehead come right back down between the upper arms. Grounding down through both hips. Still pressing through the palms and all the fingers. Leaning into that space underneath of the left arm. And letting the breath weave its way in between each rib. We'll take 2 more breaths right here, breathing in really big, fill the lungs. And breathing out, push that air, push into the floor. With 1 more big inhale. And exhale, clear it out. Again, looking forward towards the fingers, we'll pick up the torso and walk the hands over towards the left side now. Settling the forehead back down between the palms. Grounding through the hips. And leaning into all that good space. Weaving the breath in between each rib. For 2 more breaths in. And the breath out. For 1 more, make it huge. Exhale, letting it go. Looking forward towards the hands. Take it right back into the center. Settling the forehead back down and just taking a moment for yourself. Finding and setting an intention for your practice this morning, or this evening, sorry. Knowing that your intention can be anything you want it to be. Now when you have it, you'll use your inhale to seal and ingrain it into every cell, every fiber of your body. And your exhale to send it out to the universe so you can make it happen starting right now. And before we move out of this child's pose, we're just going to bring the palms to touch, the fingertips to touch. Starting to bend at the elbows so the fingertips can start to point up towards the ceiling. And however far you want those thumbs to get towards the shoulders, it's going to depend on the mobility that you have. You can go wherever. Just trying to keep those fingertips together. And very carefully bringing those palms right back down to the floor. And looking forward, we'll come up into our tabletop, bringing your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. For some rounds of cat-cow, going with your breath. So every inhale, you're going to drop the belly and lift the gaze. And every exhale, you're going to do that cat, or we'll call it Delilah, rounding the spine, tucking the chin. Inhale for that cow. And exhale for your cat. Really press into the floor. And going with your own breath. So however fast or slow you'd like to move. Feeling how you can break down the movement. As you're getting to make the spine move in its entirety, so it gets to go into that deep bend in the lower back. And it gets to super round. And also with the shoulders, the cow pose, we can squeeze the shoulders towards one another to push the chest forward. And in the cat pose, as you press into the palms, you get to stretch that space between the shoulders. If these feel really good, you can keep with them. Or you can close your eyes and just find some big moves around the mat, called a dancing lion. Just exploring all the joints, the freedom to move in any way that feels good. Working out the snap, crackles, and pops like a Rice Krispie treat. Getting to feel the hips, the knees, the wrists, the shoulders, maybe even the neck in it. And taking a few more rounds, switch it up, find something new. Maybe lean into something. Before we come right back into our tabletop, neutralizing the spine with our hands right below our shoulders. On an inhale, we're going to take the right arm and sweep it back and up towards the ceiling, pausing right there at the top, and trying to work the gaze up towards the fingers. Really using the press through the left hand to reach higher through the right fingers. Drawing the shoulder blades back together, take a big inhale. And exhale, we'll thread the needle. The right arm comes underneath, the right shoulder to the floor, and the side of the face comes down. You're in your needle, and you have the option to take the left hand and walk it forward to add a little bit extra. And you've got control in how much of this you want to feel. Maybe you look higher. Maybe you keep your gaze straight ahead of you. And if that left hand reached forward, we'll bring it right back. Pushing down through the palms so we can unravel into that tabletop, giving the spine a little wiggle. And on your inhale, the left arm sweeps back and up, pausing right there at the top. Pressing through the right palm, trying to look towards those fingers and draw the shoulder blades back. Huge inhale in. And then exhale, thread that needle. Left arm underneath the right side of the face. The shoulder comes down. Either staying, pressing through that right hand, or walking the fingers forward to get a little bit extra space. And then we'll start to bring our right hand back in, pushing down to the floor to unravel into our tabletop. Find that little wiggle. And with the hands right below the shoulders, we'll tuck the toes underneath and just push the hips right on back towards the feet. So it's kind of like a turbo child's pose, getting to stretch the bottoms of the feet, and you can even kind of move the hips side to side so you can target each toe, as well as the inner arch of the foot. On your next inhale, you'll look forward, bring the shoulders back up over the wrists, flexing and pointing the toes behind you, rolling out the ankles. And we'll put the toes right back down to the floor so that they're tucked under the heel. And we're gonna come into the core. So the belly is gonna pull in towards the lower back. And you're gonna start to press through the hands, and you can activate the shoulder girdle, because the shoulders are part of the core, as are the hips. We wanna feel the ribs kind of pull in towards the center. There's a certain amount of contraction that you feel through the front of the chest, and you're gonna keep that feeling and hover the knees just about an inch from the mat. Starting to fire up those quads a little bit. And stay right here, keep breathing big. Lengthen out the neck, keep the belly in. You're gonna keep the shoulders nice and steady. Taking the knees over towards the right side. If it's a little or a lot, you've got the control in that. But now you get to tap into those obliques, say hello. And then you'll come back in through center and over to the left, to the other side. Try to keep the shoulders as still as you can. Back into the middle, keep the hover of the knees, big inhale. And exhale, put the hips towards the heels, still with that hover. Full inhale in. And downward facing dog, stretch out those legs. Walking it out, bending opposite knees. You can lean into the different sides. And pressing away from the fingers, start to reach both heels down towards the mat. In our down dog, I still want us to feel that contraction through the core so that it's less of a pushing the chest towards the toes and more of a controlled lengthening and strengthening of the spine. So on your inhale, you can pick up that right leg, bending the knee to open up the hip, pulling the heel in towards the left glute. Keep pressing down through both hands, nice and even. Use those fingers. And roll that right ankle away, hello. For a big, strong step, keep the spine in down dog. You're just gonna bring the thigh in towards the chest, so it's a big squeeze of the core, so that we can look forward, bring the shoulders over the wrist, keep that thigh squeezing, and then big exhale pushes that foot back, three-legged dog with a closed hip. So if you have a wall behind you, imagine that you're trying to push that wall away, knowing that that push starts at the fingers. So as you push into the fingers, you lengthen out the spine, keep that core on, all the way through the heel, flexing the toes. It's a lot of stuff. Keep that spine, thigh squeezes in, looking forward, shoulders over the wrist, so you can step by that right thumb and explore the hip. You can let go of the belly. Using the hands as kickstands, just to kind of wiggle it out. And you can stay in this exploration, or you can take the hands over to the left side for a straddle fold. And I want us to take a ragdoll in our straddle fold. So we're gonna take hands to opposite elbows, letting the head hang and framing it with our upper arms. If you have any tightness in the hamstrings or the low back, you can soften the knees. Being really nice to the hips and allowing more space to come a little bit more naturally, less force. And a pendulum swing can be really nice to help bring out a little bit more. Good, and then we'll gently release the elbows with the hands right below the face. On inhale, we'll find our big halfway lift. Pull those ribs in towards the center. Keeping that shape, keep the breath moving. You're gonna take the hands, walk it towards the right foot, And start to bend in that left knee. So as you've got 3 pieces of body at the front of the mat, you've got that one in the back, and it's getting to really strengthen that left leg as we stretch the whole inner side of this right leg. Leaning into that left shoulder. And then whenever we're ready, we look forward. We push through that left foot to find our way back into our low lunge, right foot forward. With our hands right below our shoulders, pressing down into the mat, or if you have blocks, you can use blocks to bring the ground closer to you. But your challenge is to keep the knee exactly as it is. Start to engage the core and pull the heel in towards the glute, big squeeze. Holding it there for an inhale. Exhale, pushes that right foot back so we're in a high plank. Inhale to find your line in your plank. And exhale for your first chaturanga, pointing the elbows back. Inhaling, upward facing cat or dog, all the way back to downward facing dog. Push the hips back. Inhale the left leg up to the sky. Bending the knee to open up the hip. Firmly pressing through both hands. Pulling the heel towards the right glute and rolling the ankle away below on this side. Hello, Delilah. And then again for that big strong step. Keep the spine as long as you can keep it. Take the thigh in towards the chest. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Looking forward, the shoulders come over the wrists. And use an exhale, whenever that is, to push the left foot back. Pushing that wall behind you away, starting from the fingers. Flexing through the left toes. The whole back side of the body is working. It's on. Awesome. Another strong step. Keep that spine. Thigh pulls in. Look forward. Shoulders over the wrists. Then you can hinge and step by the left hand and explore this hip right here. Let the belly go. Noticing the difference in the sides. Because you've got the 2 hips, and they feel different. So that whenever you're ready, you can take the hands over towards the right, pardon my bum, for another straddle fold. You've got a yogi's choice in this one. Anything you want to do. If you want another ragdoll, you can ragdoll. If you like a shoulder bind, you can find a shoulder bind or a twist. Giving you the choice, the freedom. Because I already know that your hip is opening right here. Just try to use every exhale to help bring you a little bit deeper. Contracting through the core. Remembering to soften the knees because it feels good. And wherever we are, we're going to start to bring the hands back down below the face so that our inhale can find a big halfway lift. Pull those ribs in. Keeping that shape in the spine, take the hands, walk them towards the left foot and your deep bend in your back leg. So the weight is pushing forward or back. Whoa, words. And we want to keep pressing through the hands on that left foot. Strengthening the right leg, breathing. Good, then whenever we're ready, looking forward, using the press to find our way up into our low lunge. Left foot forward, both hands below the shoulders. With the palms to the floor, start to find the core. So the belly pulls away from the thigh. Try to keep that left knee as it is and squeeze the heel in towards the glute. That's all core. Big inhale in. And then exhale, pushes that left foot back for your high plank. Full inhale here. For your chaturanga number 2, know that you can always drop the knees. Inhale, upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. I'm just going to call them cat. It's going to be down dog and up cat. You can take 2 more breaths in. And the big breath out. Press those fingers, breathing in. And let it go. There you go. Looking forward, we're gonna bend the knees. You're gonna find your way to the top of the mat. If it's a step, a walk, a hop. So once you're there, the inhale gets to be that halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold. And then rising to stand, sweep the hands up towards the sky, maybe touching the ceiling if you can. And exhale, fold, let it go. Inhale, big halfway lift. For your high to low plank, hands are below the shoulders, feet step back. Exhale, lowers. Inhale, up cat. Exhale to down cat. Full breath in. And full breath out. You're going to take 2 more. Pull those ribs in. And then exhale, push through the heels. 1 more, biggest breath in. And exhale, let it go. Looking forward, bend your knees, hop over your cat to the top. Inhale, big halfway lift. Exhale to fold, and then rise to stand. Sweep the fingers up. And then exhale, we're gonna fold down. Soften the knees as you go. Inhale, the halfway lift. For your high to low plank, use the exhale to lower through. Inhale, upward facing dog. All the way back to downward facing dog. You got those 3 breaths, bring them in. And then push them out. Try to build up that fire, start with a breath. And exhaling, empty. For 1 more full breath in. Exhaling, let it go. Looking forward, bend the knees and find your way back up. Step, hop, jump, float. Inhale, big halfway lift. Exhale to fold, rising to reach. Hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring it back down. Starting to pick up some pace. Inhale, big halfway lift for our high to low plank. Upward facing dog, breath. To downward facing dog, push it back. You've got 2 here, in and out, ribs in. 1 more, fill it up. Then exhale, empty. Looking forward, bend those knees. Find your way to the top. Inhale for the half. Exhale to fold. Rising to stand, sweep it tall. Then exhale, fold. Bend the knees as you go. Halfway lift, lengthen. High to low plank. Control that movement. The arms are strong, we know. Upward facing dog, shoulder blades pull back. To downward facing dog, push those hips back. You've got the 1 breath in and the 1 breath out. Looking forward, bend the knees, find your way back up. Inhale the half. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand. We're gonna do 1 more quick one because it's fun. And exhale, fold, let it go. Halfway lift, lengthen, smile for your high to low plank. Big exhale, elbows back. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. 1 breath in and the breath out. There you go. Looking forward, bend the knees. Find your way up. Inhale the half. Exhale to fold. And we're going to find chair pose. We're going to bend the knees, sitting the hips down as we pull the arms up. And just take the moment to explore in your chair pose. You can kind of wiggle the knees side to side, the hips side to side, just to find your full depth. Maybe even shift the weight front and back with the feet. And once we have the legs in a place where they feel good, like they're working, then we can start to focus on the spine. What we don't want is to feel like we're pushing the hips back and the chest forward. That gives us that banana back. What we want instead is not so much of a tuck of the tailbone, but more of a wrap of the ribs, right? Because that's going to engage through the core. Keep breathing, you're fine. Turning the arms on, the pinky sides rotate in towards one another. We're going to take a big breath in, and exhale, we'll fold. Halfway lift, lengthen for high to low plank. You get powerful as you lower. Inhale, upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Exhale, right leg up towards the sky. Bring it in to step forward. Remember that strong step for warrior one. Back heel comes down. Use the inhale to sweep the arms up. And take the moment just to explore the pose. In all of our standing poses, if we don't have the strong base, we don't have the strong upper body, you keep doing all the crazies. So we want to keep pressing through that back foot, feeling how much we want in this front hip, because you've got your hip flexor, your psoas, that actually connects your lumbar spine, right? So it comes from the back and it wraps forward across the hip. So that's what we feel a lot of in these kind of lunge poses. And we can really explore it by just moving the pelvis in different ways. Wrap those ribs in, find the full length. There you go, take a big inhale in. And exhale the hands down to the floor, high to low. Big strong arms, upward facing dog to downward facing dog, exhale. Left leg up to the sky. Big strong step, pulls in for warrior one on this side. Pulling the arms up, exploring this side too. Remember, they're gonna be different. Explore how the hip flexor, the psoas feels in that right leg. While still feeling the strength of the front leg, right? We're still in it. We're just getting to explore, tweaking just a little bit. Wrap those ribs in, turn the arms on. There you go, big inhale. And exhale the hands down to the floor, high to low plank. Turn the booty on as you go down. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog, exhale. 2 breaths, bring it in. And send it out. With 1 more huge breath in. Exhale, let that go. Looking forward, bend the knees, find your way back up. Inhale to half. Exhale, fold for our chair pose, and we're gonna get to play in it now. So bending those knees, they've been here before, see if you can't go a little bit deeper. Keep pressing through the feet, rotate those pinky sides of the arms in. Alrighty, so we're gonna keep that right foot firmly planted. Here's where the hip strengthening comes, and the leg, because that's a part of it. We're gonna start to bring the left knee up towards the chest. See if you can keep the hips in their spot. You're squeezing that left knee in. Flex those left toes. You got it. And you're gonna start to push that left foot back behind you, reaching towards our warrior one. Take a big inhale when you're there. And then exhale both hands to the floor, high to low. That up dog's gonna be a big stretch in the front hip, all the way back to downward facing dog. We're gonna take 1 breath in and 1 breath out. Looking forward, bend the knees, get your float. Inhale to half. Exhale to fold for a chair pose again. Ready for that other side. Find the hip, find the leg, the arms. Keep that left foot firmly planted now. Start to pull the right knee in towards the chest. It's a big squeeze. There's pressure behind the belly. Flex the right toes. Starting to push that right foot back behind you. There you go. To land in your warrior one. Big inhale. And exhale, hands to the floor, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. Big breath in. And the breath out. Take 1 more, bring it in. And send it out. Yeah, looking forward. Bend the knees, find your float. Delilah's in my way. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Chair pose again. You're gonna love the chair. This time, from our chair, we're gonna step back towards the warrior two. So we're gonna keep the right foot firmly planted. Pull that belly in. The left knee comes up towards the chest. And you're gonna start to push it back behind you so we can land through that left heel and pull the left arm back, warrior two. Here you go. So now you've got the big open hip. You can explore the shoulders, wiggle it out. You got a lot of tight fascia back there. So you can squeeze back. You can round forward. You can chicken wing flap. You can flex biceps, do some firepower, whatever you want to do until you can find the spot that feels good. Pressing through the feet. There you go. Our next inhale is going to be a big reverse. So inhale, sweep that right arm back. And then exhale, take both hands to the floor, high to low plank. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Catch the breath in and the breath out. Looking forward, bend your knees, find your float, warrior step. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold. Chair pose again. Who knew hips brought so many chairs? Sitting down in it. Keep that left foot firmly planted. Right knee starts to pull up into the chest. Flex the toes, send it back. Reaching for that warrior two. Pull the right arm back. There you go. And once you're there, explore those shoulders. The goofier you look, the better you feel. I say that every class. All the wiggles lead for nice shoulders. So whatever you want. Very shadowy in here. Until you find that nice sweet spot, pull the ribs in, keep pushing through the feet. The spine is lengthening out of the hip. Good. And your next inhale is going to reverse that. Sweeping the left arm back. And exhale, both hands down to the floor, high to low plank. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Full breath in and the full breath out. Give yourself another inhale and a bigger exhale. Looking forward, bend the knees, find your way back up. Inhale the half. Exhale to fold. Here's the fun part, chair pose. Sitting nice and deep. Keep that right foot firmly planted. So we've got to listen because we're adding on. The left knee pulls up into the chest, flex the toes. Send it back towards your warrior two. Land it. Next inhale is a big reverse. Hang out right there. Feel that, all the space in the rib. And from our reverse warrior, we're going to take that left arm, sweep it forward and up, traveling with that left hip, coming high on the left toes, and we're in our crescent lunge. There you go. So the heel is stacked over the toes. And this is where we get to really feel that psoas. So the pelvis gets to tilt, little or a lot, depending on how much you want to feel, and you'll feel it. It's that whole front side of the hip, the back leg. Take a big inhale and a big exhale. With one more inhale right here. The right arm is going to pull back to the right, left arm forward. You're twisting that crescent lunge. There you go. So now we get to wring out the core and the spine. Draw the shoulder blades back. Spread those fingers, wiggle them. If you'd like to reverse this twist, you can reach that right hand down the left leg. You can even modify by taking that left knee to the floor, should you need it. Good. Here we go. Next inhale. Take our right hand to the top. And then push into the feet. Reach the hands forward. Pull the ribs in. You're finding a big line from the heel all the way through to the fingertips. Shoulder blades are on top of the back. So now we get to feel this right thigh and hip really fire up. You're going to take the left hand down to the floor so we can find our way towards a side plank. That right foot's going to send back towards the left. Hips are going to lift. Right arm up towards the sky. Options to modify, that left knee can come down to the floor. If you want more, wherever you are, the right leg can lift up towards the sky. We want to feel the hips lifting. They're fighting against gravity. There you go. Start to reach the right arm forward. All the way down towards our high plank. Big inhale.
And exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog, send it back. Big breath in. And the big breath out. Take one more in. And let it go. Looking forward, bend those knees, find your way up. Inhale to half. Exhale to fold. Chair pose, bend those knees. I think this is your last chair. I don't know, we might throw another one in there. Keep that left foot firmly planted. Bring the right knee up into the chest, flex the toes. Here you go, push that foot back, going towards your warrior two. Once you land it, the inhale hits that reverse and we pause. So we feel all the space on the left side. We keep pressing through both feet. And it's a very fluid movement that gets us to that crescent lunge. So we're gonna start to reach that right arm forward, and as it travels, the hip, the back heel go with it into our crescent lunge. You've got the power in that hip flexor. Using the pelvis, little or a lot. You can even soften that back knee to get a little more glute in it. Here we go. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, that left arm pulls back, twisting your crescent lunge. Remember, you can always drop the back knee. Pulling the shoulder blades back towards one another. Keep pushing into that left foot. If you'd like to reverse this crescent lunge, you can reach that left arm back, right arm up. Left knee or right knee can go down, remember. Keep breathing. Good. And inhale, both arms reach up. And then reaching the fingertips forward, find that powerful line in the back side of the body. Wrapping the ribs in, feeling the left thigh really fire up right here. Spread those fingers. And so the right hand comes down to the floor towards our side plank. Pushing that left foot back. Hips are lifted. Know your options. The right knee can come down or it can stay back. The left leg can come up, but keep the hips high. There you go. Left arm starts to reach forward, big space, all the way towards our high plank. Reconnect the hands and feet. Lowering on an exhale, lifting on an inhale, up dog, to downward facing dog. Send it back. Walk out that dog. That's good stuff right there. Big inhale in. And the big exhale out. For one more, bring it all in. Exhale to let it go. And we're gonna look forward towards the hands and just walk the feet up towards the chest. Take your time to walk them up. Feel how the hips have to lift for each step in the foot. Hanging out in a little fold there with the head hanging super heavy. So we can zombie roll to stand. It's going to be one vertebra at a time. Tuck the chin in towards the chest until we're all the way stacked. The head and the shoulders are the last to come up, and we can roll it out. Can wiggle it out. Shake out those hips a little so we can do some balance. And then inhale, reach the hands up towards the sky. And exhale, the hands are going to come right down to the heart. So we can find a tree pose on the right side. The right foot's going to come somewhere along this left leg. And you can find your whole shapes. However that tree wants to look, let it look. Growing as tall as you can. It is officially spring, so things are growing. We've been in the greenhouse. I planted tomatoes the other day. Those will grow upright. Good. Whew. Take a big inhale in. And then exhale, bring the hands back down to the heart. No slingshots allowed. Here's where we really get into that hip. You're gonna take that right ankle and just cross it over the left thigh. If this is enough of a balance and a hip opener for you to pull that right knee back against this left thigh, you can stay. Otherwise, a little figure 4 squat where you start to bend that left knee. Really getting into that. We did this in a bar class where you hold onto the bar there and you really get to lean away from it. But doing it without that bar, now you're firing up that standing leg. There you go. Big inhale in. Big exhale out. Remember, there are no slingshots. So you're going to start to push in that left foot to straighten the leg, pulling the right knee up into the chest. And then we're going to send that right foot back towards a warrior 3. Flex the right toes. So we're doing a lot of balance. We're moving on that one leg. Wrap the ribs in. Good. Start to bend the left knee, reaching through those right toes so we can land that crescent lunge. Big inhale, sweeps the hands up towards the sky. And the exhale makes you stay. Inhale, breathing in. Exhale, push to the feet. So we came back to crescent lunge. We're going to get back up to bring that right knee to our chest. Start to push into the left foot, leaning forward. That right knee is going to come in towards the chest, hug it in. See if you can keep that balance. Bring the hands down by your sides so we can find a dancer pose. Your right hand is going to come towards the inside of that right foot. And before you go right on back, feel that right knee hug towards the left knee. And try to send it straight back. So the hips, we're going to keep them closed towards the mat. Your left hand can either reach forward or it can stay towards the heart. I like it more towards my heart. Pushing into that right hand with the right foot. Good, good balance. Keep breathing, you've got it. Remember, no slingshots. Slowly bring both knees towards one another. Releasing that right foot so they can come right back down by the left foot and wiggle that out. Give it a shake. So we can do the other side and call balance a day or whatever. Inhale, sweep those hands up towards the sky. Exhale the hands down towards the heart. So we can find our tree pose on the left side. Left foot somewhere along your right leg. Finding that shape as tall as you'd like to grow. Trees have those really big trunks, right? They're right in the center of them. So imagining your whole body as that trunk and knowing that the body is built to fight the gravity, right? It's built to hold us upright. So help it out, reach higher. Pull that hip open. Good. Last inhale, bring it in. Exhale the hands towards the heart. No slingshots allowed. Detach that left foot. Stack the ankle over top of the right thigh. So you've got your figure 4 right here. If this is enough, you stay. You're pulling that left knee back so you open up the hip more. Or you can start to add that squat through the right leg. Even if you need to stay in tree pose does great things too. We're just adding. Try to keep that spine really big. Hands can do whatever they need to do to keep your balance. You got it. With a lot of control now. Start to push into that right foot. Bring the left knee up towards the chest. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Sending it back towards your warrior 3. Powerful right leg. Ribs pull in. Shoulders on top. Arms go wherever they need to go. Even if it's to a wall to help you balance. You got it. Start to bend that right knee. Reaching through the left toes until we stick it. We land it. Big crescent lunge. Inhale. Sweep the hands up. Exhale to stay. Find that hip flexor. In. Exhale. Say goodnight to Delilah. We're going to find our way back up to the top, starting to shift the weight forward, pushing into that right foot. Bringing the left knee up into the chest. You're almost there. You know where you're going. Bringing the hands down to the sides so that we can find that dancer pose in the left. Bringing the left hand inside the left foot. Lining up both knees before we start to push back. We want control in the hip. And as you start to push the chest forward, you're pushing the foot into the hand. The right arm can go wherever it wants to go for you. Good. Stay, keep breathing. Wiggles are okay, they're strong. Last inhale. And exhale, bring both knees to meet. Carefully release that foot so it comes down. Give yourself that wiggle, add some spine shakes into it because mine needs it, maybe yours needs it. And then an inhale is going to sweep the hands right up to the sky as tall as you can. Exhale, you're going to fold all the way back down. Inhale, big halfway lift. Exhale, you're going to fold. Inhale, another halfway lift and stay. So we did a lot of abduction with the hip, right? Opening it up. And now we're going to do just a little bit of adduction, adduction. We're going to take this right foot, and we're going to reach it behind and across the left foot. So we've got pinky sides of the feet in towards one another. You can see my legs on the screen. I'm making an X, my right foot behind. I'm just going to fold right like this. See if we can't get the heels down to the floor. Maybe the hands need to be walked out a bit further so you're in kind of like a half down dog. Letting the head hang really heavy. Even feeling like you're pushing the booty back. Really get, so I'm feeling the outer left hip. You might feel something different. Good. No slingshots, remember. Inhale is a halfway lift to the spine. You're going to uncross the legs. The right foot goes back to where it was. So that the left foot can cross behind and over. So the pinky sides sort of line up. They're not going to be totally even. So you can fold right on down. Maybe you get to feel the outer right hip. Or maybe your outer left hip is just tight enough that it feels this too. And then starting to inhale, big half. I did that on the exhale. Unraveling the legs. And just walk out those knees. And we made it. So we're going to keep the hands right below the shoulders, and we're going to take that left foot and step it back so that our left knee can come down and we can find a nice low lunge. You have the option to keep the hands on the floor, lifting the chest, or you can bring the hands up towards the sky. What we're going to do here is we're going to find a little bit of a movement. It's kind of one of my favorite movements. I'm going to start to push the hip towards that front heel. So we're really getting that extension in the left hip. And then we're going to start to pull it back, push into that right foot towards our runner's stretch. Both hands are going to come towards the floor, the right toes are going to flex. We're going to move back and forth between those. So your own pace, knowing that slow is good. Using an inhale to lift the arms, push the hip forward. And then your exhale, if you want to move with the breath, helps to find your way back towards that runner's stretch. Delilah's looking at me like, what are you doing, Mom? We're gonna do that one more time. So in towards that low lunge, sweep the hands up towards the sky. And then all the way back towards that runner's stretch to stay. Both hands to the floor. Flexing the right toes. And extending the spine over the leg. So we don't really want the round spine. Doesn't matter how far we're folding down. We just want to feel a good length. Good. For my other favorite move, I call it the big yawn. You take the left hand below the left shoulder and out a couple inches so that we can pull the right arm up towards the sky. Getting a big stretch in that entire right side of the body. Taking up even more space. Be unafraid. You're at home, so you don't have to worry about anybody next to you. Last inhale. Exhale, that right arm reaches forward and down. Start to shift the weight forward into that right foot, bending the knee. Tuck the left toes if they're not already. Fire up that leg so that our feet can meet at the top of the mat. Walk out that fold. So we can do it on the other side. Maybe noticing a difference in the hip. That right foot is going to step back. Bringing the right knee down. Knowing that you can always keep the hands on the floor in your low lunge. Just focus on lifting the chest. Or you can add the arms up towards the ceiling. Pushing the hip forward. And then moving your way back. Use the breath for that runner stretch. Being able to move through space with a good amount of ease. Shifting the weight forward again. Lifting those hands up. Slowing it down and really moving with a lot of intention. With one more, shifting the weight forward. Lifting the hands up. All the way back to that runner stretch. And staying. Lengthening the spine over the leg. Flexing the left toes. Maybe wiggle the toes hello on this side. Finding that full length until we can find our yawn where the right hand comes right below the right shoulder and out a couple inches. Pulling that left arm up towards the sky. Big open left side. Lean into that space. Take it up. Don't say sorry. Last inhale. Reaching my left arm forward and back down. We're going to shift the weight forward into that left foot, bending the knee. Tuck the right toes if they're not already. Engage the leg to downward facing dog this time. Walk it out because you made it. You made it to pigeons. Gotta love the pigeons. We're going to do them. Actually, I think we're going to do a fire log today. Yeah, we're going to do the double pigeon. So we're going to take the knees down to the mat, flying by the seat of my pants, bringing the hips down towards the heels so we can swing the legs forward. If you'd rather do half pigeon, you can totally do half pigeon. But we're going to go for the double here. We're going to take that left foot, bending at the knee, and just bring that left foot down to start. So we want the shin ultimately to go parallel towards whatever edge of the mat you're using. It is easier to hug that heel in towards the glute. And then with this right leg, we're going to bring the right ankle on top of the left knee and the right knee towards that left foot. So if your hips are really tight, that knee might not come towards the foot. Maybe it will if you give it a little bit of a nice, gentle pressure. Remember, you can also bring that left heel in. It helps alleviate some of that stress. But if you can get that right knee on top of the left foot, maybe you can even start to fold forward. Only if it feels good. I said we were doing hips. Here you go. Just using the weight of the upper body or your hands to help bring a little bit more space into the hip. This is Delilah's favorite part. Just moving the breath really strong. Couple more big breaths. And closing your eyes one more. All right, very carefully. You're going to start to bring that right knee in towards your chest. Bringing that right foot to the floor. I say carefully because it's very careful and slow, so that we can start to switch sides. With that right leg on the bottom, remember it's going to be different. The left foot's going to come on top of the knee. The left knee on top of the foot. And take your time. I usually find that my hip won't right away open. I have to really breathe into it, relax into it, and also not force it. Like, I don't want to fold on this side right now. And that's okay. But if you want to, you can. Remember, you can pull that right heel in towards the bottom. Makes it a little bit more easy. Good. Couple more breaths, closing your eyes. One more breath. Very carefully, be so nice. Start to bring that left knee in towards the chest. The left foot towards the floor, so you feel that action of releasing the hip there. And you're gonna bring both knees towards one another so that we can find our way onto our back. Keeping those knees bent, we can take the feet out to mat's width, allowing the knees to now come in towards one another. They may not touch, and that's okay. But we had them in that abduction, and now they get a little adduction relief. You can bring one hand to your heart and one to your belly. We're gonna bring in some good belly twist here. So starting to hug the knees in towards the chest. Give them a big squeeze, wrap the arms on top. You can draw some circles on the ceiling just to massage out the hip and the spine. Keeping the right knee hugged in, extending the left leg straight on out. We're going to open up the knee first. So let the knee go over towards the right side. And then when you're ready, let it close off into that belly twist. Over to the left. Right arm reaches out. The gaze can follow it. Just letting gravity do its wonderful thing right here. Relaxing the toes. And then whenever you're ready, bringing the knees back in towards your chest. Give them that tight squeeze. Keep the left knee, extend the right. Allow the left knee to open up. And then close it off for that belly twist. While it's checking form. Letting the left hand extend out. The gaze can follow. And then whenever you're ready, you can take any final pose you'd like to take. It's a bridge pose, a happy baby pose. Before we come right into our Savasana, your Savasana nap. Allowing your legs and your arms to extend out. And just feeling the body melt into the floor, the ground beneath you. Allowing the breath to come back to its natural rhythm. Softening all the muscles in your face, for your arms, your legs. Feeling free to stay here in Savasana for as long as you'd like. I want to thank you for joining tonight, for flowing. May you always be well. May you always be happy. And may you always be light. Namaste.